king.
And he was a king. And he
And
went
the
on,
kids did too.
dressed up every day, you know, white shirt and tie. That my mother Ryan did all that stuff. He looked like he was a millionaire. And he acted like he was a millionaire. He didn't act like a tough guy. He happened to know a bunch of tough guys, okay? And nobody bothered him because he was an athlete. My father was a good athlete, from what I heard, right?
And he was also a boxer.
Yeah, he was a boxer, and he came from the West End, which is a very tough neighborhood, right, Bobby?
Yeah, they moved there from Haverhill.
Okay, and he was well respected in the community. He was so well respected that they used to use him as a front man to go into businesses, and you know, because they used to go in there with his name because he was so clean. I mean, clean.
The guys who fronted
Wasn't
him
a crook.
were not clean?
Huh?
You're saying the guys who used him as a front were not clean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No clean guy goes into business. Okay,
Yeah.
you got to be a crook.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you that, but still the same. Still the case in my mind. Okay.
You know, I'm tickled to hear him say these things.
Yeah. He
And
was-
then he didn't get involved in the business himself?
Oh yeah, he was a front man. I mean, he was being he calls him a president. I call him a treasurer.
I see.
I would call it a major insurance company. Put him as a corporate member, right?
He became the president of an insurance
Yeah.
company, and I don't know the name of it. But he and a friend of his
You have to have
were
all
two
this-
honest men. He became the president. Ike Lutkin.
I don't think they would
Ike
make
Lutkin
nothing.
became the treasurer, and they had to have 3 signatures on everything they signed.
Yeah, sure.
And the one that signed was account somebody. And yeah, go ahead.
It was wonderful. Because of limited time, tell me about Celia.
Huh?
Tell me
Yes,
about
Noah.
Celia.
Celia,
Yeah, tell me about my grandmother.
she went to high school. She got a high school degree.
Yeah, that
She
was,
worked in the Western Union.
Right.
She used to send Morse code.
Oh,
And during the war, she was a telegrapher.
first.
And
what was she
and
like
then
at home?
huh?
What was she like at home? Like, I got a good description of what
My
happened when Al
my
walked
mother was the most wonderful woman in the world. She was a doctor. She was a nurse. She was a housekeeper. She was a caretaker. She treated us and everybody she
Everybody.
treated separately. You was as would be treated as an individual, and you were different than him, so you got treated the way you.
I'll be prejudiced. She was like Vivian, only more.
She had 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and
Well,
not only the
we'll tell you
7,
about that later.
not only the 7, all the other people who she
Plus
took
the-
care of,
Oh,
the
yeah.
brothers, Al's
yeah.
brothers, and
Oh,
others
yeah.
they took care of.
And my mother
The kids,
took,
when the kids got spouses, the
Right.
spouses lived there. When the kids,
absolutely.
when the spouses had
Right.
children,
Right.
the children were there. It was
Right.
amazing how
And
many
we all
different
had kids.
people.
and my father would never move into a smaller apartment. He says if the kids want to come home, they got a place to go. And my mother said that's right. You know, she was in agreement, but she treated him like he was a king.
He was.
And when things were tough, and he didn't eat a lot of foods in the house. You know, he didn't like a lot of foods evidently, and she used to make him what he liked, and if it was strawberries and cream, she used to mash the strawberries up in fresh cream, and never sour cream or you know. But she gave him some of these luxuries, you know.
And he loved salmon, canned salmon.
And he liked canned salmon. And
That
she
was
bought
his
him red sockeye, not the pink.
Oh, yeah.
That's like
Right.
cat
That
food.
would be best.
That's what she said. And if anybody brings it into my house, I'll throw them out. And I have the same feeling. And that's my mother.
Did
And she
did
took care
always
of
make great
everybody,
chicken
huh?
soup?
What?
Did she always make wonderful chicken soup?
Oh, God, yes.
She was
but it
probably-
wasn't as good as her mother's.
Well,
She was probably one of the best cooks in the country. And I compare her today, and I don't remember what any of the food tastes like. But all I know is it was good.
It was great.
And she
But it
always
wasn't
had,
as good as her mother's.
and
'Cause I-
everybody who came, we had 9 people sitting at the table, and then my grandmother and grandfather moved in with us because they had a fire and they had
Oh,
no
they
place
moved
to go. So they moved in, and we all shifted bedrooms. We doubled up and
Oh.
everything else. So
how many bedrooms did you have with all these people in it? How many bedrooms in the apartments that you had?
Don't talk about that right now.
She'll sing too.
No.
Had to have been more.
How many?
Rooms in our apartment?
How many
How many bedrooms
bedrooms?
when you had all
Let's
those?
see.
Oh, we
Well,
had
let's see. One. My
one,
mother and father
one.
had one.
It depends what house you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can know the last one. All right. And Gladys and Harriet and Greta had one.
Right.
And sometimes they three of them slept in a bed, and they had sex and everything else.
You had what? Sex?
No.
Is that what you said?
And
And
cut.
everything else.